Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Saad Sangat Ji, today we are very privileged. We have with us today athlete Jasmit Singh Fulka, who is a part of the Canadian wrestling team. Baji,
I want to thank you for giving me an interview, and I want to say Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh to all the viewers.
so Baji, this is your first time here in the UK. Tell everybody how old you are and what weight you compete at.
I'm 28 years old. I compete at 74 kilos, and I've been representing Canada on the international stage for the last 12 years.
And is this your first Commonwealth Games?
Yeah, this is my first Commonwealth Games, but I've been to 2 Commonwealth Championships prior to this. And no, 3 Commonwealth Championships prior to this.
All at 74 kg?
No, so 2 at 74 kilos, 1 at 86 kilos, and I actually won the 2010 Youth Commonwealth Championships at 69 kilos in Singapore, and I was an outstanding wrestler.
So this is your first time here in the UK. How have you found it since you got here?
It's been awesome. We've been in the athletes' village, so it's kind of a little bit of bubble. So we haven't been, we haven't had a chance to really go out that much yet. But it's been beautiful. Everything's there. Food, everything's accessible. It's easy. Training. So it's good for us. I think week for competition, that's what we need, and everything we need is what we got.
So you weigh in and you compete. Your first one is tomorrow. What's your weight at now? And do you normally ever struggle with your weigh-ins? Is it normally okay on the day?
Yeah, so my weight right now, this morning, I was like 4 kilos over. And I'll lose that in like 45 minutes. It shouldn't be an issue. I've never really struggled with my weight, but I think I'm a kind of a professional all year long. I train hard. I train 2 times a day, every day. I watch with my food. For some people, they might do camps and stuff, but for me, this is a lifestyle. I love what I do, and I do it 24/7.
That's awesome, boy. I mean, like you're just saying there, a lot of people do camps. Have you done anything different for the Commonwealth Games, or has it just been your normal preparation as you would for anything?
I would say normal preparation. I was in the States training. That's kind of what I do usually anyway. So it's kind of a normal preparation. For me, training's never the issue. If anything, I overtrain. So for me, I'm always in shape. I'm always ready to go. And tomorrow when the whistle blows, I know I'm going to be ready.
Any nerves?
No. I've been doing this for too long to have nerves. It's the Commonwealth Games, but at the end of the day, it's 6 minutes and it's on the mat. It's something I do every single day.
But not necessarily nerves of coming to compete, nerves of showing your full ability, your full potential.
Yeah, sometimes, I think sometimes, but I think I remind myself, I have little cues, and the biggest cue I tell myself is off the mat, I should get carried. My coach should have to pick me off the mat. So I try to put all my energy and focus on that, and everything else takes care of itself.
So who have you come with? Which coaches, which teammates? Is it people that you've been touring for a long time with, or is it new guys? And your coaches, are they long-time coaches, or are they new guys brought in for the Commonwealth Games?
Yeah, so I actually have a new coach for this Commonwealth Games. His name is Raj Verdi. He's an up-and out of Vancouver. This is the first time there's been a Punjabi coach. So it's a big deal for us, for Canada. And one of my teammates with me is Amrit Desi. We went to Olympics in 2021. And we've been traveling the world together for 12 years. So
traveling the world in competition?
Yes, in competition. Our first trip together was the Cadet Pan Ams. And hopefully our last trip together is 2024 Paris.
And how do you feel the traveling and going to all these new places? And is that something you find difficult? Is that something now you're used to? Is it something that motivates you?
Yeah, I think it's something I'm used to. Like, I haven't been home for more than 5 days probably the last year. I don't expect to be home for more than 5 days until 2024 Olympic Games. Right. So it's something I'm used to, and it's also something I like. You got to change the scenery, but it's also something that requires me to be more disciplined because, when you travel for us to get here, it took us 20 hours. I didn't really get a chance to sleep much, so you got to be really disciplined because my weight can skyrocket quick, and I have different diets because I'm at different spots in the world. So I got to be really smart with that, and I got to really be a professional because I got to find a way to adjust quickly and go to sleep. I can't afford to not to sleep tonight. So I got to be a professional because some people get jet lagged. We don't have time to be jet lagged. I go back home, I'm home for 4 days and I'm gone somewhere else again. So I got to be a real professional with everything I do 24/7.
And we've met your brother and your Bobby and your nephew, and so you got those family here. Are there going to be other people, family here that are going to be here to support you?
My fiance is coming, and that's about it. My dad and mom will be back home cheering, and the rest of my friends and family will be cheering back home. And yeah, I think this is the first time I'm gonna have my nephew here, so I'm excited. He turns 1 tomorrow, So it's pretty cool that I get to wrestle on his first birthday. So it's a cool experience for him and for me.
And that's your family, but as a community, we've been following you for a long time. You're well known on the circuit. You know, you're well known overseas. You're one of the well-known names in the competition. So the whole community is behind you. How does it feel to you representing the whole Sikh community and diaspora?
I'm honored. The community has given me so much, and I always try to read up on Sikhism as much as I can, because I feel like, we were made for this. And I love it. And I when I get a chance to represent, I always try to wear my kada and my necklace, and I love to represent, and I really try to represent as much as I can when I'm at events like this, because it gives a chance to someone that might not know about Sikhism, and I get a chance to tell them. And this is what I take the most pride in. It's not the gold medals. I don't care too much about winning and losing or the competitions. That comes itself. But representing Sikhism is my biggest achievement till date, and it always will be my biggest achievement. One of the coolest memories I have is Jordan Burroughs is one of the best wrestlers of all time. Everyone in the world knows him. He's gonna go down as the best wrestler of all time. I think he's an 11-time medalist. Everyone that knows wrestling knows him. And I had a 1-week training camp with him. And the coolest thing about that whole training camp was he learned about Sikhism. He asked me about my kada, and that was, when I look back at it today, and I look back at it, and I'm like, that was one of my biggest wins in life. One of the biggest wrestlers in the world got to learn about Sikhism through me. And that's the stuff I value really close to my heart.
And it's a really big deal generally, because if we have all our top athletes and all our top people, proudly, like we've got a boxer here called Dylan Singh Chima who's doing quite well, and he's a very proud Sikh as well, and you're all flying the flag, effectively the Nishan Sahib, the Khanda, the Punjabi, the Sikh community. You're flying that flag, and when you medal and we see Singh or we see Jasmit, whatever name it is on that medaling finish there, it's something for the whole community to be proud of, because there's going to be a lot of people here that are not your family, like I was saying, and they're going to just be proud because they're going to feel you're one of ours. I'm going to come and watch, and I'm going to feel, prior to today, I haven't met you, I'm going to feel he's one of ours. Where would you say that Sikhi has helped you, whether that's on the mats, off the mats, or if you've been down in points and you've thought into inspiration in your Sikh history, or whether that's your discipline off the mats, living a good lifestyle as per, Sikh Maryada, Sikh code of conduct? Where do you feel that Sikhi has really helped you?
One thing that I want to piggyback off what you were saying earlier, I make sure I always try to put Jasmit Singh Folka in my name. You won't see me in any competition without that. And to go back to Sikhi, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Sikhi. When I'm back home and I try to go to the Gurdwara as much as possible, I go every single day before my morning training session, even if I just quickly matta tek, and just quickly go out. Whenever I'm at training camps, I try to get to the Gurdwara. I think God has blessed me so much. A lot of people worked hard. A lot of people work hard daily in their lives, but God has blessed me. If it wasn't for God, none of this is possible. I've worked hard, but He's blessed me. Even standing here today, it's because of God. I can't even put it into words. It's without Sikhi, I can be, sometimes, for motivation. And even this morning, I remember I was listening to a lot of Shabd, and it gets me in a good zone. But it also reminds me of all the sacrifices the Gurus did for us to be here. And I think about some of the, battles, and then I think, I can do this. They did this. I just got to go and wrestle 6 minutes. And I like to read up a lot on, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and it really inspires me. And it also shows me that this is in my blood. It's been done. I'm going on a different battlefield, and it's the wrestling mat. But my battlefield's a lot easier. So it shows me that we've done it in the harder battlefield. So it makes my life easier, because for any athlete to accomplish anything, most of the time, and I think a lot of the time, if someone's done it before you, it makes your life a lot easier. And I use gurus as motivation, as people that have done it before me. So I look into gurus for motivation, and I try to use their strength and courage and their brave, and I try to bring that into my wrestling.
That's so beautiful to hear. I could see the passion oozing out of you when you talk about your Sikhi and you talk about your history. And now if we look at Baba Deep Singh, who at a very late age, post 70, they went and they fought at Harmandir Sahib. They liberated our most holiest shrine, the Golden Temple. And, at your age now, you're still competing. How long do you hope to be competing for?
Yeah, so I look to compete 100% until 2028 Olympics in LA. But that number I feel like is changing every day, because the more I get closer to the date, the more I know I can't live without the sport of wrestling. But also, I'm also understanding the bigger picture now. You know, when I was a kid, I thought the bigger picture was me. You know, I want to win this, I want to do this. But now I understand it's not about me. You know, God put me on this earth, and He gave me all this. Like I said, He blessed me with all these tools for a bigger purpose. And I figured that out as I got older. You know, whether it's SIKH to help people, like I got a chance to meet you through the sport of wrestling. I wouldn't have met you otherwise. So I'm starting to understand that as long as I feel like the community and my friends and peers and my culture and even my town back home needs me, I think I'm going to compete. I think that is my bigger picture, and it's to help children through the sport of wrestling. Children might be going down the wrong path. This might be, I can help them through this. And it also gives me a chance to, put SIKH on a platform. And that means a lot to me.
And we're on the subject now of the children. There's going to be a lot of young children of different ages, of different abilities, of different mind states around the world, not just the UK, who are going to be watching you. This is going to be a scene where the whole family is going to be sat down, and mum, dad, brothers, sisters, they're all going to be sitting down watching you. What advice in regards to the wrestling have you got for young kids who maybe have started and maybe have stopped, or who have thought about starting and never did start, who had a long break, they've got into a bad crowd, and they've thought about getting back in? Just across the board, what advice do you have for the youth around the world that are going to be watching you compete at the Commonwealth Games?
I think my biggest advice would be you get what you earn. You put in the work, you're gonna get what you earn. And in life, nothing is certain. I go into competition tomorrow, nothing is certain. But how I prepared is in my hands. How I perform tomorrow is in my hands. And that's gonna be, I want to wrestle hard, I want to wrestle 6 minutes. But sometimes the referee or sometimes someone will be better than you. So, I feel like sometimes, especially in our community, we focus too much on maybe the wins or losses. Just love the process, because if I win a gold medal or if I lose my first match, I'm going to be up Sunday morning and I'm going to train. I'm going to train Monday. I'm going to train Tuesday. Nothing changes. Medals aren't going to change it, and wins or losses aren't going to change it. But I love the process and I love what I do. And my biggest message, to children and to parents is the biggest and the best thing I ever did in my life was join the sport of wrestling. I came from a family where my dad worked really hard. And, we have a good nursery business out there. It's Maple Leaf Nursery. We're farming over 250 acres right now in Canada. And my dad and uncle have worked really hard to make that. So if it wasn't for the sport of wrestling, I would have never seen sacrifice. The sacrifice my parents seen, I might have never seen those, because I was in a bed. I was in Canada. I was sleeping on a nice bed. I had a fan on in the summer. I got heat on in the winter. I drive a car to my practice. And some of the guys I compete against don't have a car. Some people in India or maybe Iran, they don't know how they're gonna make it tomorrow. So wrestling has shown me that. Wrestling has shown me. Some trips I gotta sleep in a one bedroom. A small cot. Some days at a trip I don't get to eat for 6-7 hours. Mom's not there for me. So wrestling has made me struggle and see sacrifices I wouldn't have seen without. Sports will teach you things in life that you may not learn otherwise. And if you look back at sports, a lot of kids from broken homes or not the best homes do really well. And I think that's the reason why, because they've seen a lot of things that we don't see. So I think it's a struggle. So I think the biggest message to parents is, you want to teach your kids good traits in the struggle. The best way to do it is put them in sports, because at a young age you learn about winning and losing. And the biggest lesson I learned in life is you can do everything right, A to Z, and you can still fall short. It's happened to me multiple times.
So now when you're going to compete tomorrow, all the crowd's going to be watching, your name's going to be up on the screen, there's going to be a lot of cheering going on, and this is what people are going to see. But what people don't see is the daily grind. Mm-hmm. Those days where you've had a bad training session, where you don't want to be on the mats and you're thinking, what am I doing here? How do you motivate yourself through those struggles? And to add to that, have you ever thought about today that calling it a day and maybe this isn't for me?
No. I've never ever thought about quitting. I've had some bad tournaments, but quitting is it's never been an answer. I think, and it comes back to my religion. Sikhism. I think it comes back to my parents. No one ever was a quitter. You know, I've never seen a quitter in history, and I've never seen a quitter at my house. So a quitter was never a question. You know, that's never been a thought in my mind. But I would say I've had some dark days. You know, in my family, you know, my dad never wrestled, or my uncle, or my great grandpa never. No one wrestled. So I'm making the road right now. You know, so obviously it's gonna be tough for me. You know, as for my children and my nephew, and you know, it's gonna be a little bit easier because I know what turns to take. But so it's been hard for me. But I always knew that nothing good in life's gonna come easy. And I also knew that, you know, if I quit today at this, you know, I'll quit something else, something down the line. You know, and I can never. I've always had one motto in life: is never ask anything from your children that you wouldn't do for yourself. So if I want, you know, I think about my children someday, and I think I'm gonna do everything I possibly can. So when it comes to their turn, you know, they can say, "Well, Dad did it as well." You know, I want to be that father for them, knowing that, hey, I did everything I possibly could do in this world. And that's what the sport of wrestling. I want to leave every stone. I don't want to leave no stone unturned.
And you know, Baji, you are, especially I'm a big follower of wrestling, and you are a superstar, and you are recognized and you are well known. But you know, I've been very privileged to do this interview. You're one of the most humble people I've met, even before we were talking. Do you realize how big you are?
You know, to be honest, I don't think I'm that big. I think as a community, you know, as Sikh, we're all together. You know, if it wasn't for people like you guys, I wouldn't be here today. You know, the platform, you know, like I met Baji yesterday, and just meeting him, I felt like I was back at home. You know, wherever I've gone in the world and I've ever met a Sikh, I've never felt, you know, I just felt really blessed. Out of the whole Canadian team, I always get the most love and support. And they always say, like, your guys, people treat you so well. You know, Baji offered to give us a ride to Birmingham on Sunday and there and back. And the whole team was so shocked. Like, wow, man, we get a ride. And I was like, that's the Sikh way, though. Wherever you go in the world, Sikhs are always doing seva and always helping. And I think, you know, I've made it really far in the sport, but it wouldn't be without everyone's help. You know, like anywhere I go in the world, I truly feel like we always support each other. And, you know, I met so many of people from the UK, and I've never been to UK. You know, following wrestling and always messaging me. So I want to thank everyone for the message as well, because, you know, sometimes it does get lonely. But I think together as a community, we are so strong. And we've shown that time after time after time. And I think we always got to stick together, because when we stick together, there's no hurdle too big for us.
And let's talk Commonwealth now. So tomorrow, what time is your weigh-in?
I'm weighing at 8 a.m., 8 a.m. to 8:30. I wrestle 10:30 to 2 p.m.
And do you know who your first match is against?
Yep. So I'm wrestling a guy from Scotland, and then I have a match against the winner of Pakistan, I think Tonga. And then my semi-final, I'm not too sure who it will be. And then my final, it looks like it will be India.
Okay, and how do you feel? Have you come into this competition injury-free? And do you feel that, you know, this gold medal, no matter who it is, from which side of the draw, that you are going to be in that final?
Yeah, no, I feel good. You know, as an athlete, I think, you know, there's obviously things that are always banged up. That's just life. But I think as an athlete, when you put on your straps and you put on the singlet and you go on the mat, it doesn't matter what's wrong with you. You're always ready to compete. And, you know, I prepare in a way that I'm ready to wrestle everyone in a line 15 minutes after. And that's the way I prepare. Tomorrow I only have 4 matches, but I'm prepared to have 16 matches. So, you know, I'm ready to go. And, you know,
Is there anyone here that you fought before?
There's a couple guys I fought before, and I've beaten all of them. And there's a couple of new guys that I have never wrestled. So I've never wrestled the India guy. I've never wrestled the Scotland guy that I'm my first match. I haven't wrestled a couple of guys, but I've wrestled some of them as well.
The Scotland guy, obviously being here in the UK, is going to have probably a lot of support as well. Is that something that's ever put you off if you're not the fan favourite?
No, I always think away, like, you know, there's a lot of fans out there, so it's a better way to represent SIKH tomorrow, right? You know, I got a bigger crowd, and, you know, everyone from Scotland will know more about me. So I always think if there's more, you know, a lot of competitions happen outside of Canada. You know, we don't really get them, and we don't actually have 0 international tournaments, so I never really have a big fan base. Tomorrow I actually have my brothers here, so that's actually going to be more than I ever had. So, you know, and I'm ready, and I think it's going to be cool, because they're going to, you know, Scotland will know about Jasmit Singh Folka, and when they Google up, they'll know what the Singh stands for, and everything will make sense to them. You've
told us a little bit that you've been training in the States. Is that long term? Is that short term? And where are your origins from? Where did you fall in love with the sport, and where have you spent most of your time training?
Yeah, so I've been training in the States now since around 2018. It's a kind of a long term, so I'll be training until 2024 Olympics as well. But I grew up training in Mary Perry Wrestling Club. It's a kata in Abbotsford, BC. The coach is Sucha Maan. He's been a multiple-time national team member. He actually came third at the Commonwealth Games himself. And you know, that club is supported and helped me throughout my whole life. You know, everyone, all the members, you know, all my friends back home, you know, they're all, you know, messaging me nonstop. A lot of them were gonna come here, but you know, things fell through. But yeah, that kata has been there for me for forever, and I think that kata has also brought me closer to Sikhi. You know, and that's where I learned a lot about Sikhi, and you know, and that club has helped me to make me the man I am today.
And at the Akara now, is there guys still competing? Is there a new batch through? Is it, you know, is it what you envisaged it to be years ago?
Yeah, so there's a new batch always coming through, and yeah, it's more than what I envisioned. We have like a solid 10, 15 of us that used to wrestle out of there that are kind of starting to take it over from the parents now, and that we have a tournament every year. It's called the Mary Perry Wrestling Club Tournament, and we've been having it for 14 years now. So, you know, it gives a chance for all the local wrestlers in our province to come and wrestle. And also the same way, it gives us a chance to represent Sikhi and who we are. You know, our banner has 2 kandi on each side, and, you know, gives a chance to educate the Gore. And we like to do that tournament. And it's one of the most prestigious tournaments in our province now. And it's going on for 14 years. And, you know, hopefully, I think we want to grow it into an international tournament so we can bring in Sikhs from all across the world.
Okay, awesome. So Sangaji, we've been speaking to Jasmit Singh Fulka, and he is a Commonwealth athlete. He is competing tomorrow. The whole Sikh community and the diaspora in UK, Europe, and around the world is with him. Baji, on behalf of all of us, we wish you the best of luck. Maharaj Ang Sang Sahai with you all the way through, and we hope you can inspire generations to come.
I want to thank you guys for giving me this interview. I want to thank the SIKH Channel, which is in Canada and UK now, for, you know, really showcasing the Sikhs across the world. You know, it's people like you that make our lives easier. And I want to thank you guys a lot, and I think you guys do more than you guys know you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.